Good morning. This is TED Talks, and I am Ted Davies. I'm an artist and author and a collector of all different types of things: comic books, watches, and welcome. If it's your first time, hopefully this fits into what you guys are looking for as far as a entertaining show. A little bit of education, but we try to do a lot of different things on TED Talks. One of which is interviews. But today we're going to go through a couple things on what I look for as far as antiquated books, antique books, vintage books at garage sales and flea markets and libraries and things like that. That when they do sell books, sometimes you get some really good treasures. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit here. Let's see. We have. It's been about a week, so I've been on vacation, so bear with me. We've got Columbus Beach in the coffee cup today. And what we're going to do is show you our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. We'll be right back. Here at Ted Davies Artistry, we take coffee seriously. And so does our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. It's fair trade, organic, and they're artisans just like me. The only difference is I use watercolor and ink and they use coffee beans. And I enjoy it all through my day. So do yourself a favor, go to the description when you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Find Indian River Roasting Company's website. Use the promo code CAFFEINATED2021 and save 10% on your purchase. Yeah, so check out everything that they're doing as far as on their website. Go to the description here in the information and follow their website under Indian River Roasting Company. Use Caffeinate Ted and save 10% on your caffeine purchase. We also have another great sponsor. It is Cashman Comics in Bay City. Cashman's is running a huge sale right now. Check out what they're doing on their website. And here we go.
And every day I wake up feeling the same way now. Need to find something to believe. Every night the dreams we make, they're haunting my head now.
Cashman's is awesome. John ships nationwide. Check out everything they're doing right now. Like I said, they're having a huge sale. Follow them on Facebook, Cashman's Comics in Bay City, and they're awesome. Check out everything he's doing. They're celebrating 25 years right now, so they're having a huge sale. I was down there yesterday. Place was packed, full of people. There's a lot of things going on, and it's just a really good value. John does such a good job. If you're a novice collector or a seasoned collector like myself. So check out everything that John's doing. We're also proud affiliates of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and we have a new page here. So check out everything that we're doing. Everybody on here has a YouTube channel. We are a group of creatives that help creatives build their businesses. Big news this week is Wednesday, tomorrow, a show that I am co-hosting with creator Glenn B. Fleming, The Truth Mongers, is going to be premiering tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It is a recorded show, but we will be in the live chat as the show is progressing. We also have a launch party at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard tomorrow on this YouTube channel. And that'll just be basically a Q&A of what we're doing, how crazy we are doing this. Brian K. Morris has been kind enough to come in and kind of host it a little bit. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. We're looking forward to it. Take a snapshot of this page. Today is a really good day. Tuesdays are always good. TED Talk starts at 10 a.m. And we work through the day. And Clever Title Pending is on this evening, 8 o'clock. Check out what Brian's got going. There's some really, he's always got great guests and a great banter of communication going on there. So check out everything that Brian's doing as well. Check out everything we're doing with Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Follow us on Facebook And I think you'll be pleasantly delighted with all the entertainment and education that you find 7 days a week. All right, let's see what else we've got here. I think that's everything. Okay, so let's get into the comments. Like I said, good morning. Let's go through the beginnings here. Oh, Carl, good morning. Hey, Paul, a pop culture Avenger. How you doing? Everything's going okay, I hope. Let's see what else here. Oh, Lewis, how you doing? Lewis is always good. You know what? Lewis said, "What is a flea market? Is that where you see the vendors and run for the hills?" Well, I think I obviously made a typo. What I thought flea market, when I've always seen, and I've seen some different, some type it's flea, FLEA, and then other time it's flea, like they're selling everything so that they can move away. They're fleeing the scene of the crime or whatever. And that's, I don't know. If I misspelled it, I apologize. We're going to keep it on as flee, as running, because I think it's, it's just, tomato, tomato. So you tell me though. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. So everybody, I mean, Donna, hello. Like I said, thanks for everybody for joining me today. We got a lot going on this week. It's been crazy busy. I just got off of the vacation, spent some time with my family. My brother came into town with his family, and my daughter came into town, had a few things going on with her. So that was great. Good to see her. But it was a relaxing week, but now I'm hitting the ground running today. So there's 5 shows this week. It's going to be crazy busy on this particular station anyway. With TED Talks today, Truth Mongers tomorrow. Thursday, we have TED Talks Timepieces, which we're going to be talking about the L'Oreal Hulk, which is a really cool watch, very cost-effective watch, brilliant, very cost-effective. And I'm looking forward to sharing that one with you because I think that you guys will really dig that one. And then Friday, we've got Drinking with the Davies, which is going to be the Blue Hawaiian, which I'm looking really forward to that because it looks like a really great drink. And I know Christine's excited about mixing it up. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so let me start out by saying when I tell you the avenues that let me get myself back on here. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. One of the avenues that I do when I'm looking at like different books or garage sales, whether it's comic books or literature based anything, or even collecting antiques for that matter, I go in very incognito. I don't wear my most expensive watch. I don't wear my fedora. I usually, if it's cold out, I'll have a flannel on. I'll probably throw on Plasma Fire Graphics hat. Look very, like I said, incognito. And I don't do that to pull one over on somebody, but I like not being noticed when I'm trying to go through like certain, sometimes you got to, and I kind of dress down too, because you're going in, sometimes it's really dirty. You've got to go through bins and, there's dust and all kinds of crud and everything around there. So I just have I've always gone in kind of, it was hard because when I worked in architecture, I was always like in a suit and tie and that, and it was kind of, I couldn't go into some of these garages. They were just, I just couldn't risk ruining my clothes. Now it's like whatever, t-shirt, pants, whatever, pants obviously, but jeans, shorts, whatever. It just depends on the time of year. But when you're doing that, when you go incognito and you're not setting a precedent for, say, that if you're going into auction or anything like that, to where you've got people that are, or we're going to mark it up because he's wearing an Omega watch. He's well dressed. It's all know your audience, just like you would when you're doing a speech, public speaking. Know your audience. I don't. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to pull one over on anybody, but I think that is a really good way of presenting yourself quietly, maybe as a wallflower. I don't know, but I've always done that when I go in and when I go into different flea markets, or if I go into the garage sales and that. Even I even park further down the street a little bit when I'm at some of these busier garage sales, because I don't want them to see what I'm driving. Some people, like I said, sometimes they mark it up. Most of the time they don't. They're usually pretty good. They'll barter with you. and that's kind of cool too. Necessarily, or it's not necessary. Usually, when in garage sales, it's pretty well priced. I've been to a couple and they're pretty ridiculous on pricing. And if they won't barter, they won't budge on it, then I'm out of there pretty quickly. I can, and that's one thing too. Try not to be too emotional on your purchasing, because if you're looking at this as a collector, it's one thing. If you're looking at it to flip it, to make a few bucks on, then that's not. Once you get caught up in the emotional side of it, you're not going to make any money doing it. But in any case, good morning, Glenn. How you doing? Good morning, Christian. And we'll get through. I'm sorry. Just let me get through a couple of these. Like I said, it's weird coming back because now you got, and I'm back to the production and the broadcasting and everything else. It was weird setting up everything. And it's just weird when you're not working with that during the week and then you come back to it. But okay, so let's talk about value versus collecting, because I think that people get really caught up with, oh man, this is, I'm going to make so much money on this. Well, you might be able to, but the realization is you have to have a market you have to have a buyer. It's not worth anything if you don't have a buyer, right? At least in the money sense, or monetary sense. For me, it's different because I collect. I'm looking at, what, I probably could sell this later. But right now, we don't really own anything in life. We're more stewards. We're just until the next person has it. So we're kind of taking care of it. Whether there's money exchanged or not, we're not taking it with us, right? So I look at it from a standpoint of, okay, how can I, would this be nice to leave to the kids maybe, or would this be nice to maybe own? And then when the market, if I ever need it, can we turn this over? And that's kind of how I look at a lot of the different things I purchase. Some of them are emotional. So, and I've got that connection and I won't ever get rid of some of them, but gives you at least an idea of my presentation, or my perception, I should say, on collecting. But that's up to you. Collecting is a very personal thing. So you figure out what you want to do with your collections and go from there. Let's throw Plasma Fire Graphics. Jeffrey Hayes, he rocks. Let's put that over there. So this weekend, let me tell you what happened this weekend. So we had a couple days. Saturday, I've got a few things that are going on, finishing up Grimm's Grimm 101's updates and everything else, laying them out for the printer. And, Christine and I, we said, she's like, let's go garage sale. And I said, okay, cool. And usually I don't go because some of the stuff I'm like, we've already got enough, not garbage, but you know what I mean? It's just like we've always got more stuff, and, we've got a limited amount of space here. So, but let me tell you, I struck gold. Saturday mornings, we've got the Christine's business that we are at the market, and we take care of that. But during the event on Saturday, or the market on Saturday, they had a book event, which one of the local charities brings in books that were donated. And then you purchase a bag of books or whatever for X amount of dollars, whatever. Let me get a drink of coffee here. Columbus Beach, by the way. So what we did was I took a break from helping Chris with the Wicked Weeds, with the business that she does. And I went over and started going through everything before everybody got there, because it was really early when we got to the market. So we ended up, I got some really freaking good deals. So I don't know. One thing about living up in northern Michigan is you've got a lot of older. Give me a second here. You've got a lot of older generation that are starting to pass away. So estate sales happen, people donate things, and that's to my benefit. Some people are very they keep their stuff forever. They're hoarders, and they don't let anybody have their stuff. Well, thinking that they're going to take it with them, but in any case, eventually somebody else stewards their goods, right? So when this nonprofit brings these books there, they've got everything sectioned out in biographies, and it's just basically, it's all on tables. You can go through it. It's pretty well presented. One of the things that I look for are hardback books, and I know that I know some people have seen some of the books that I collect. But the paperbacks are great. I don't write them off, but really the hardbacks are the ones I think that are better to go with. I know that I've showed this, I think, to a few different people, but let me split screen this. So we've got I'm a big Faulkner fan. William Faulkner was a pretty I like his writing. I'm like a huge fan like I am with Mark Twain, but he's pretty good. I always look for when we're looking at books. These ones I didn't buy at the flea market. I'm just going to show you these quickly though. This one completed a set, and I've been waiting for this. And I think I told Carl and a couple other people about this one in one of the green rooms. But the when you're completing a set, it's really easy. You can just go online and find it. But I find it's more intriguing to go treasure hunting, trying to find it in the marketplace so that you can actually. It's like you've won something, right? I know it's corny, but this one, it took me almost 4 years to find this book, and it's in mint condition. One of the things, too, is that I don't know if you can see this or not, they pencil in the prices. Some of these people, you got to be really careful with this. This book's in like just excellent conditions from the 50s. But you can look at all different kinds of different avenues as far as how to save money, but you always want to look for first printing. These first editions, US first editions, French first editions, whatever. You want to always look for that first. That's what I always do, no matter what the book looks like. Never judge a book by the cover, because there might be something that speaks to you inside the book. And there might be a couple bucks. You never know. There might be some money in here. So when I always go through it, I always look through because I know that people don't always look through these and they lose money. I usually just donate that back to the facility though that's there. They just somebody just they overlooked it. But on the hardback side of it though, I always look that they have a dust cover or not. They have a dust jacket, the original dust jacket. I'll get to your comments in a minute, guys, too. Then, I always look at the book proper too, as well as, the creases, everything else in it, how it's aged. Is there any water damage? Some of these will have copyrights, or they won't have copyrights. You won't know what year it is. So have your phone on you and make sure that you can check this. And don't be afraid to don't be afraid to do that. I usually go in and I'll actually type in, okay, Gulliver's Travels, what I'll say with sleeve or with dust jacket. And then I'll usually put down, I'll go in and I'll look at who produced the book. So I'll look in here and I'll say, okay, who did this one? Goldsmith Publishing Company. There's no date usually on them, but when you go into Google, you can do shopping. You click on the shopping tab, and usually you'll get a few hits on what's available. Now, most of these books I didn't pay much for, but they're worth a lot. But that's just me. I know what I'm looking for now, and I'm not cheap. I just, don't ask my wife that, but I'm not cheap. But I try to make as much sense out of it economically to do it, so that we're coming out ahead, right? So, and like I said, I'll get to the comments in a couple minutes, but some of these are really, and I'll get back to some of the ones we got over the weekend. Some of these don't write off the paperbacks, because I'll tell you what, I got some really good deals over the weekend. These are barely broken in. Homer's Odyssey, Dante's Inferno. And the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is a classic, and all of these are classics. But I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of these. I just like having paperbacks too. I know that Dan Holyfield, I know he's not on, he's at work right now, but maybe on the playback he'll see this. But he's a huge fan of paperback books. You don't really recoup as much for resale value on paperbacks, but if you find them, they'll grab them. Dracula, Frankenstein, anything like that. If you got paperbacks and they're classics, go for it. Do it for yourself. You can, and it's always good to have, for me, it's always good to have around for like, well, I don't have any grandkids, but later on in life, hopefully I will. And it's good that they're going to have access to, a private library too of mine. Because I think that's, I don't know. I'm digging that. I'm looking forward to that. over the weekend, let me tell you something too that's really, really cool. Meeting the people that most of the people that sell books or have libraries and that are getting rid of books and that have had it and have an emotional connection to it are really cool freaking people. Some of the ones that I met over the weekend were just awesome. Uh, they were just awesome people. They're in the golden years of their lives, and they're downsizing. They're moving into an apartment. They're moving closer back downstate to a hospital, and they've got to start. They're thinking about their health more, so they've got some health concerns, and they can't be up here anymore. They can't really be up in northern Michigan, just from a logistics or a health standpoint. They need to be closer to their doctors downstate. So when you connect with some people like that, that have kind of the same artistic backgrounds, and that's really the whole interaction is it's so cool. I love that part of, if you want to call it garage sailing or whatever. I love that connection. And 30 years ago, before I met Christine, I'm like, nah, I don't want to go to garage sale, whatever. I'm not buying other people's junk. And I was wrong. I'll be the first one to tell you that. One of the families that over the weekend that we met, their son's a Buddhist, and I found some just tremendous books on Buddhism. I'm more of a Taoist, but Buddhist writings are very something that I really go back and forth with as far as learning from. And I just found just a ton of books on really, they're in perfect shape. He also was a big fan. Glenn, you might want to listen to this one. He was a big fan on Egyptian, ancient Egyptian works. So this book, the Book of the Dead, is actually something that we're going to be doing. And Glenn, listen up, because we are going to be doing a different version on the Truth Mongers as far as the Egyptians, technology, and what they believed in. And it's ironic that I found this book this weekend again at the same place that I was telling you, this older couple. And this is a fascinating book. This is really but this is part of the treasure hunt. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be model railroading, whatever, flips your switch, so to speak. Ancient Egyptian magic, all these different, it's a lot of fun, and to really, when you really get, you're inspired again. I mean, I really was really having a good time. I know it sounds corny, but this is the kind of stuff. Who would have thought in Upper Michigan I could be able to get this type of literature? And it's right up my alley. I like this kind of stuff. But you find out what you want. I mean, if you're collectors, you know what resonates with you. I'm not going to bore you with that. But another one that we're going to be doing too with the Truth Mongers, Glenn, is giants. We talked about giants, ancient giants in biblical times and everything else. How you doing, Brian? I really wanted, my family, my mother's family were Potawatomi, and my grandfather was almost 7 feet tall. I never met him, but there's been a lot of Native American burial mounds, and that they were disrupted because of, obviously, for colonization, all these things that happen here in the States. And there are a lot of bones, and there's a lot of things that are there. Some of these they were giants, 10 feet, 12 feet tall. It's all been documented in the newspapers. Smithsonian had them. There's a lot of things about giants that I want to talk about with the Truth Mongers, and I think that Glenn and I were discussing that a bit. But it's ironic that I found this book there. So again, it's very serendipitous. You need to have keep your eyes open, because things that you're thinking about very well might find a way into your life, especially through books. So, but yeah, just a fascinating weekend, learning all different things, meeting people, meeting this older couple. But what I was saying earlier is this other thing at the market was really cool, because it was a nonprofit, and you basically get you donate money to however many books you want. And I found a first edition Guillermo del Toro, The Fall. It's got it has the original dust cover, first edition, And again, it's not, this one isn't going to, like, make me a million or anything, but look for the first editions always. Try to get into, always look for that first. See what's available. You'll see the first American edition, whatever. Try to get the hardbacks if you can, because they are worth more in the long run. But try to find the best. You'll know when you look at it. I mean, the end pages, everything about it. If it's clean and it's affordable, grab it. Especially it's a first edition. But the piece de resistance of the whole weekend, besides meeting this great family, the K's, they were awesome. Props to them. Were these two books, and these are really, 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 really cool. So they were in a box, fiction, obviously, and it's an original book series, Cujo, with the original dust cover. And it's the book club edition, so it's even more rare than what the actual book that was there. I'm gonna bring this up because I was floored when I found. I couldn't believe it. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I found it. So the book club edition, though, limited production. The Doubleday or whatever it was, the original that Cujo came out with. This isn't even broken in. I mean, this is an amazing shape. So this one won't have. It says printed in the United States of America, 1981, Stephen King copyright. It does not have the first edition stamp on it, but it is in impeccable shape. I mean, especially with the dust cover, I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I mean, there's a couple. I think there might be a flaw here and there with the dust jacket, but I just could not believe this. This was such an amazing find. I mean, it's a beautiful book. It's just an absolutely beautiful shape. I don't even think it was red, but the dust jacket alone is worth what I paid for it. Again, it's not perfect, but boy, what a find! So cool. And it's like I said, the book club editions are a little bit different than the first editions, but they are more rare. I believe that they came in the mail, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to check more into that, but I just couldn't believe it. Amazing find. And alongside of it was Pet Sematary. Same book club edition with the dust cover, dust jacket in impeccable shape. I mean, just amazing. I couldn't believe it. And like I said, yeah, you're right, Paul. And like I said, some of them go even more than that. I've seen some of them for $39 when they're buying. They're not on bid, but they've got. I've seen some of them. If this was signed, it would have bring over $300, I'm sure. But with it though, I really, you never know what you're going to find, guys. And that's what I want you to. And again, we're stewards. I don't think I'm going to get rid of these unless I get a substantial amount of money for them. But they're just in such beautiful shape. It doesn't even look like they're red. But we'll solve that real quick. But yeah, and the dust jackets were it's just amazing. Just amazing. I was just over the moon. And yeah. Okay. All right, I'm done salivating. All right, let me get over to the comments here. Let's remove that for a second. Okay, let's go back through here. Sorry about that, guys. I get kind of excited about this kind of stuff, so I know dorky stuff, but all right. Let's see. Okay, Glenn. Okay, Glenn. Let's read what Glenn says. So let's pop that up there. So surprising what you find. Back in the late '60s, I bought my only James Bond book, Moonraker. So I wrote my name in it, etc. It was thrown out sometime later. 35 years later, I went into a secondhand bookstore 80 miles away, and there was my book with my name in it. Tell me you bought that? Oh, it is in your archive. Okay, it's in your archive. Okay, that's good. Man, that's serendipitous. You better grab that. Carl, you're right. Thrill of the hunt. That is right. And I mean, we're gatherers. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to have one over on everybody. I think that you I think that you need to be realistic. I know that some people, it was Sunday, we went over to this one garage sale early, and it was an estate sale. They knew that the person, the grandparent or the parent had passed away, and it was 50% off on everything, right? And I don't know. Um, Donna, there is shopping and there is finding. That's right. Um, and it was, it, I think Chris found a couple baskets, some really nice hand woven baskets. And I mean, it was a couple bucks. I insisted that they took the money. I didn't break it down in half. I mean, it would have been like 75 cents for this. It was ridiculous. I mean, in that case, eh, give them the money. I mean, give them the money the full price. That kind of stuff when it's so cheap. I just don't, I feel terrible taking advantage of them in that respect, especially when they're trying to, solve an estate and everything else, make it, dissolve it or whatever. Glenn also says the oldest hardback I have is a copy of John Drinkwater's play, Abraham Lincoln, first published in 1918. My copy is the 16th impression, published in 1920. That many impressions. Wow. Wow. All right. Let's see what Paul says. Pop Culture Avenger. I'm kind of turning into Brian here. Bear with me. Ted, you wouldn't believe how many signed books I find. People tend to just throw the books in boxes without checking them for cash or signatures. Yeah. And, that was one thing when my aunt passed away. She had died heart attack. And we found out that it was actually the furnace that caused the carbon monoxide. She didn't have her furnace checked. And it was one of those brilliant lady educators. She was just a fantastic woman. And really, I miss her. Her name was Gwen. Actually, it's one of the reasons I named Gwen in Grimm 101, the main female character in Grimm 101, Gwen, because I wanted to honor my aunt. But my aunt, it was amazing. Her library was incredible. And when my dad was the benefactor of the estate, we would literally, she had these library, these lawyer cabinets, the ones with the glass doors that rolled in, and that's where the books were all stored. Just amazing. And inside of it, literally, it was raining money. You would open these books and $50, $100, and that's just the way that she was. That's how she saved certain monies. She was from the Depression. She, and that was something they did. And I'm sure we probably missed one or two, but yeah, it's fascinating stuff. And if it's in that environment to where you're at an estate sale and that the family is there, they already are paying a company. Some of them pay companies to come in and do that. They're already paying a premium for some of these companies to come in and manage the whole thing. If you're finding that kind of money, give it back to the family. I mean, if it's fallen out of that book that you're going to buy, I mean, that's up to you. That's your call. But I just think ethically, that's, the right thing to do. Brian, yeah, Book of the Dead. Maybe there's a Necrocomicon in the collection. I don't know. We'll have to see. I was really geeked when Christine, when she went in there, and these two, and they were just two elderly people just hanging out on a Sunday afternoon in their garage. Nice little house. And you would never know that they had some of the coolest Tibetan books, some of the coolest Egyptian books. They were awesome people, really, really good people. They're in their late 70s. And yeah, it was really just really cool. And I would love to do a story about a fictional story about a couple like that. I think that'd be great. Maybe a comedy. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Pop Culture Collector. You can find wild autographs in the strangest places. One time I got one of the Bruce Campbell's books signed. No kidding. In a remainder. Really? Wow. That's cool. I hope you have it still. Here's Brian again. Another time, the rummage sale, I found play scripts signed by the stars, one of whom was Chris. Really? Man, that's cool. Now, Brian, do you live in West Lafayette or Lafayette? I had a question on that. And there's a reason for it. I've got a really interesting possibility there. Glenn, not ironic, meant to be. There's a reason for everything. It is very true, Glenn. Very, very true. And we talk a lot about that. I think that there's a lot of guidance in our lives, whatever your faith, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. I've got to scroll down here a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. Those were good finds, absolutely. Cujo's it is in good shape, Paul. I was just shocked, and I'm glad that I'm glad you guys see it for what it is. So, and we're all bibliophiles, right? We're all book nerds. So that's why I wanted to do a show on this. I've got a couple other things. I don't really want to do reviews on certain things, but some of them are really, it's a lot of fun just being around these type of books and appreciate the effort that went into producing some of these things, especially in the older ones. Brian. Okay. Brian says, I live in Lafayette on the east side of the Wabash. Oh yeah. But I'm 3 minutes drive from West Lafayette. Okay. So here's the scoop. So Frank Lloyd Wright designed a home, Samara, I think it's called. I might be mispronouncing that. Studied it in college, and it's based off the name of a pine cone petal. The actual, if you want to call it that, it's the small piece on the pine cone that flares out, and the design is mimicked throughout the whole. It's a very small home. But it's gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. The family maintained it beautifully. And we tour Frank Lloyd Wright homes, Falling Water and such. We're going to set up a time that's going to be on the trip when we come down for Comic-Cons or whatever next year. And I'll organize that, and we will definitely be doing that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Let's see. Let me go back to, I jumped ahead there. Sorry. Okay. Glenn, he said, I also recently purchased an autobiography by, Michelle Nichols or Michelle. You're on Star Trek. Oh yeah. You're on Star Trek in the secondhand shop. I opened it up and there was her. No kidding. Oh, her was awesome. I think that they did a great job in the new movie too. I think Zoe did a great job. Okay. Let's see. Brian. I might have driven past it. Ted, let's track that place down. What you say? Absolutely. We'll find out a little bit more about it. It is, for being a ranch, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous home. Very Usonian, very small. Frank was very much into that very small architecture later in life. A lot like what I'm doing now, just very small. And I don't like the mini McMansions I used to be affiliated with anymore. It's fine. It's my history, I guess. But also part of the country is filled with Carnegie libraries. They are. We've got one up here, actually. Dale Carnegie was such an influence on me. How to Win Friends and Influence People was such a huge, I guess, teacher is maybe a good word. In business, it was fantastic. If you guys give me 1 second, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to get one of the books down so Glenn can see it. Give me 1 second. I've had this book for years, but give me 1 second. Okay. So Glenn, do you see this one? Ian Fleming's. Now that's another book edition. That's again in mint condition. You're going to look too whenever you're looking for these book club editions. They'll say book club usually only on the dust jacket, and it's usually stamped. So that's that's the way to do it. This book here was again the book edition. The book club editions don't sell. Don't think it'd be a sellout for them. They are just as valuable, and they're limited production than the originals. So don't feel like because eventually they're going to be probably worth quite a bit. But I look at a lot of the. If you find these, grab them, because I mean even the drawings, the quirkiness of it. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is brilliant. That's such a cool, and all it is just a press. And back in the day, this was when was this made? 50s, I want to say. I don't know what year this was produced. And again, some of them they don't show the dates. Here we go. This was copyright 1965. Okay, so with that, this might have been a little bit different production, but a lot of them they used to use the lead. Everything was typeset in lead, and they literally every panel, every page was laid out in lead, basically typeset, and they pressed it and then went to the next page. Had to do another one, pressed it again, and it was the labor that it took to make a book. It was staggering. Um, but there's the man there. But there's so many. I mean, the architecture of the book, the stories of the books, not necessarily the books in this or the stories in the books, but the way that these things are manufactured. That's why I love all of it. I know it's just it sounds corny to some people that don't appreciate it, but and it's great today what we can do. It's fascinating how fast we can produce books, and literally, we're gods. We really are gods when it comes to production. It's just an amazing thing. We are so gifted um, to be able to get the thoughts out and get them into paper format and get them out to people. It's incredible. It's really incredible, and I'm glad that we're living in the time that we are in that regard. Okay, Brian, let me see. I don't want to. Okay. Brian, let me go to this one real quick here. Brian says also a number of book club editions are cut jaggedly on the outside edges of the pages, whereas the bookstore editions were cut smooth. Yeah, that's true, and they are actually the ones that the Stephen King book. You can see. I don't know if you can see it or not, but they are. They're literally. It's kind of nice. I kind of like that because you can grab the pages a lot easier. And one other thing too, on a lot of the smoother ones, people used to lick their fingers and, then turn the page, which I can't stand anyway, especially during COVID. These ones, you don't need to do that because they're jagged. If you look at the profile, if you can see it or not, but you can see how it's kind of, so I kind of dig that. But these ones are going to go in plastic bags though, just because of the covers and everything. They're just after I read them, of course, I am going to take off the dust jackets, put them away though. Okay. And then we'll continue on with these. Thanks for being patient, guys. I really appreciate you guys stopping in and letting me nerd out for a couple minutes. Let's see, Glenn. This is hard, Brian. I don't know how you do this, man. Okay. And then Glenn says, and then of course I have my Jack Kirby signed comics, of course, but we're not here to talk about that. Well, those. Well, I mean, and I've got a stack of Jack Kirby's work behind me in comic form, and I don't have anything signed by him. I don't think, and it's a shame, but I still love the artwork. And some of the books I didn't even realize Jack did the work in when I was little. I had no idea who he even was, but I appreciate him, and I'm glad I saved the work that I had. Let's see. What was the reason for the jagged edges? I'm not sure either. Brian doesn't know either. I would assume that they to make it different, it might have been cheaper, and they probably they were offcut sheets maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you're nerding out with me. That's good. So I mean, you get an idea. I mean, marketing wise, I think that I don't know if I'm gonna ever sell any, and I know it drives Christine crazy. Some of the ones are in demand, though. I've had people email me or whatever saying, hey, do you have a copy of this? I find a lot of books on Abe Books. Abe Books is great. They can be a little bit pricey. Etsy's got a few things. There's a few shops on that. Facebook, ironically, is becoming quite the marketplace for all kinds of stuff. And it's local. Usually you can, get it down to the 50 miles or whatever. The jagged edges were to differentiate that makes sense. That makes sense. It's a quick grab because some of these you wouldn't know. I mean, some of these, they look so much like the originals. It's some of the first printings that, yeah, I can understand that. Camera, I'm going to have to, definitely check that out. There's so many things that we can do. And the other thing is too, it's a great way to upcycle a bit or recycle, because I think that, there's plenty of knowledge in this world, sometimes too much knowledge in the world, but to be stewards of books and to read them. One of the gentlemen at one of the garage sales this weekend said to me, he says, well, I only read the book, I only read the book once and then I'm ready to just hand it off to somebody else. And I'm like, well, I mean, I get what he's saying, but sometimes I don't always retain all of it in the first time I read it. So, and I like having I like having it so that I can go back and reference it if I ever want to. Eric Hawkins, Jack Kirby designed the characters for the old Thundar, the Barbarian cartoons. Really? And yes, I've been lurking while working. That's good. Happy birthday again, Eric. Sounds like you had quite the weekend. And I love the so reading Eric's Facebook over the weekend comments about Black Widow, whether he liked it or not. I'm like, that's so Eric. That's so Eric. But I'm glad you had a surprise party in that. That's good too. Brian, since we're talking about the Egyptian Book of the Dead too, check this out. So they've got hieroglyphs and they break it down. So I mean, I'm gonna totally veg out on this because I'm gonna be able to read hieroglyphs someday. I hope. This is really cool. And what they found in the different tablets and all these other things. It's a fascinating book. Fascinating. I can't wait to see what it's all about. But like I said, I'm geeking out. Thundar was cool. I like Thundar. Some web pages say Jagged Pages was a nudge to the recall 19th century binding styles. Then again, who knows? I think that probably Brian was spot on with that. I think that it was probably designed so it was easier for people to know on the bookshelf which was original, which was the book edition. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think that the Egyptian once you guys watch the show tomorrow, after we're done with the live event, and what the compelling things that we ended up talking about, what we consider compelling. The Egyptian, the whole overview of the pyramids and the power plants that they were, and how they structured everything. I don't know how the civilization was, but when you see all of it and you see it's there in your face. I don't know how you can deny with the information that we've given on the show. And I think that you're going to enjoy it because it's a common sense approach on the way these conspiracy theories they've kind of duped us a bit. Not all of them, but we're not experts. That's one thing that we're definitely going to put out there. We are not experts when it comes to the truth mongers. We're just a couple guys that are looking at it from a Joe Lunchbox standpoint. So we're taking an educated viewpoint on some really major, what we think are major things that we might shed some light on. So let's see. We're talking about, Cameron says, Black Widow hit like a checkpoint. I crossed it. Okay, cool. And Paul, Peabody Museum in New Haven had some original Book of Dead pages on view. Really? I didn't know that. I know that it was one of, I want to say that they've got more information from those pages. I think I was reading about that, to where the pages were there's so much information that they really they learned so much about the Egyptian culture from this book. So, but I'm fascinated with it. I'm really excited to see what what rabbit hole we can find and how it's going to work, because I think that there's a lot to be learned, and we all everybody's got their different perspectives on things, and that's cool too. But I really wanted just to not. I don't want to scare people into thinking that there's guys in black suits and they're thought police and all. It's not that at all. I just want an educational viewpoint and a discussion about, what, we don't know it all. We're not the most advanced civilization that ever lived. And, what's the deal? Why don't we know more about it? Brian says, the Illuminati said, I need to watch the truth mongers to make sure you guys get our lies correct. Got it. Well, I'm sure that we're going to be, there's going to be a lot of views on it. There's a lot of interest on it. There's a lot of people that want. I was telling Glenn that our sponsors already jumped on. I mean, we've got other sponsors that are in the queue now, and we haven't even started the show yet. So I'm excited about it. It's it is another show that I have to do, but I think that I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be something to where we get our minds working a bit and people are going to have input. And this first one we did was recorded because we wanted to see how it went. It went pretty well. I think that you guys are going to enjoy it. When we do live, though, I think it's going to be so much more. I think that so many more people are going to be involved. And Glenn, Glenn can tell you too. I think that there's room for a lot of different discussions on it. We want it to be a healthy discussion. We want it to be a thoughtful discussion on what is available, in the world. Because I mean, the internet's done some really amazing things for that. Let's see. Eric says, "Wait until you talk flat Earth. People come out of the woodwork to jump on you." Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that too. I mean, they have every right to be wrong, but I think that the flat Earth thing is going to be a lot of fun too, to disprove it. I'm not saying that we know everything about the Earth, and I'm not saying that I might say this. Google doesn't have exact, there's not really, if you go on Google Maps, there's not really, I think, photographs of the top of the Earth and the bottom of the Earth directly, which is interesting. So I'm going to leave that at that. I'm sure Glenn and I will do a show on that. That's going to be, that's really interesting on how that works. I'm not saying flat Earth at all, but it's just interesting that there's no real shots of those 2 points. So, what's one more show? That's right. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead. Glenn, I think it's okay that we go ahead and do this. I don't think you guys have seen the intro yet, so I'm gonna go and play it. Be right back in a second. Yeah, I dig that. I hope you guys like it too. But I think that there's you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of In Search of that beginning. Where Leonard Nimoy would come in, and that music. It just seems, it just seems like it's going to be a real. I dig it. I think it's really really cool. What were you saying there, Brian? I'm going to minimize this for a second here. Let's just get on my pretty mug here. But I really, really like the intro. Glenn did that, and I think it's going to work out great. But it reminds me of Leonard Nimoy In Search of. Flat Earth, sovereign citizens, UFOs. There's more nuttiness out there than, no doubt. And, I'm hoping that we can bring Carl in because I think that psychologically, are we destined to always have conspiracy theories in our minds? Are we prone to do that? I think that that's going to be a really good show, and how our psyche is, promotes all this nuttiness. That's cool. Eric says, very cool. You and Glenn are entertaining. Going to be great together. I hope so. For Glenn's sake, because he's putting up with me. Yeah, super. But I don't know. That's pretty much it on the book venture of what happened this weekend. You get an idea now on that, and you're getting an idea on the truth mongers. And I think that it's going to be a good week. We got a lot of really good stuff going on, with Rising Tide, but especially on Ted Davies Artistry, we're trying to do some really fun things that are going to be thought provoking and not cheesy, maybe a little cheesy light. But, I think that, if you guys have any book buys that you've come up with, or something that's, really good, that you even going to Ollie's, I went to Ollie's too yesterday. I ended up I don't have it here, but I read a really good book. Sandman Overture, amazing, absolutely amazing. And it was like $3. It was incredible. So even if you go to Ollie's and buy new books, that's fine too. I'm all about the, saving a few pennies and getting as much as you can for the money. But, do things that you want to learn from. I mean, get things that you want to learn from. And if you want to be a collector, great. If you want to get, find some of these old Ian Fleming books, these are dynamite. I love having these. My dad was a huge fan of 007, huge, huge fan. In fact, this watch, I've done a show on this one, and this is actually a homage to the 1953 watch that Sean Connery wore. And it's all and I think Dr. No, but anything that deals with 007, I'm all about. But if you can get into any of those type of books with the book club edition, whether it's Pet Sematary, any of these things, Stephen King, you name it, there's so many really good books that they're treasures out there. And just check out everything that I don't know. Check out everything I'm doing anyway, but I want to make sure that you guys have an idea that you can be a collector too. You don't have to have all these great finds either. You got to be excited for what you're finding. I think that there's always room for, I guess I never thought I'd say this, but a garage sale in your life. Go find one. Go help people make their, bills, pay their bills or whatever with getting rid of some of their stuff, as long as it's quality, But there's just so many different things that I enjoyed, seeing this weekend and meeting people and seeing what, what's available in people's trash, if you want to call it that. But there's so much. Let's go back to a couple more of these comments and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Paul says there is an app you can download, what is it? Yard sales, that shows you local tag sales and flea markets in your area. Okay, cool. You spelled flea right too, by the way. Good job. All right, Brian. And remember, the books you buy today will be someone's collectible one day. Yeah. And that's true. And like I said, we're stewards, right? Even the comic books, everything we have right now, all the different things that I've purchased over the years, you just, it's for the next person. Obviously, you don't do it for that reason, but remember that you do it for your enjoyment, but just, do something to where it's still nice for somebody else, even if you leave it for your family member when you move on. It's just, I like being a steward of certain things because I just think it's a lot of fun. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to afford any of these books, even though they were only a few dollars here and there. But some people don't have anywhere near the luxury that a lot of us do. And if I can bring awareness to it, that you can find books, that you can shop and you can do things that it's cost effective, and you're able to do, you're able to enjoy it and read them and then pass it on if you want to. I mean, or sell it, whatever. I mean, that's part of collecting. You can flip them, you can keep them, whatever. You can donate them back to the libraries. That's another thing that's, and as well as us as creators, as authors, always keep that library stocked full of your books, the local library. I mean, I do. You try to do the best you can with what you have. And I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. And hopefully it shows. So we've been here an hour. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's see. I already went through all of the things. Let me give you an update on Grim 101. We're updated. We're fully edited. I'm going to be sending everything over to the printer this week to start getting proofs ready. We're going through a couple layouts, a couple different basically page layouts to make sure everything's going to fit and work. And I think it's going to be, I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Not a huge book, but it's going to be a concise book to the series. And I think that you guys are going to enjoy it. And then the next book will be coming out in October. We're going to be doing another Kickstarter here in October for book 2. But we'll make sure that everything's fulfilled first and everybody's happy. And we'll get that on its way. So Grim 101, very excited. Brian, thanks for all your help with that. And of course, Lisa Malone, if you guys need any help with any type of campaign work, get with Lisa Malone Management. Amazing. Worked out great with for what we invested with and in the return. So, and then let's see. So we talked about TED Talks. We talked about Drinking with the Davies. We talked about Ted and Carl's Cigar Show this week. It has been a month, and this Thursday at 11 o'clock, we are going to be talking about taking your cigars traveling and what the laws are right now. Possibly there's a couple different concerns, at least that I've seen, and flying and a few other things that you can't really do. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit, and just the mechanics, what we take, how do we store our cigars when we travel, and that kind of thing. And it's going to be a lot of fun, as it always is with Carl. And we might have another guest. We're not sure, though. I think we will. But in any case, we'll see you there on Thursday morning as well. Got a busy day. Got a lot going on today. And I appreciate you guys so much. Paul, have a great day. Everyone have a great day. And try to be, try to be good to somebody today. Do something good for somebody if you can. And share or like this video. That would be great. Thank you. I appreciate it kindly. You guys have a great day. And we will see you very soon. And we'll see you tomorrow night on the Truth Mongers with the launch party at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard right here on Ted Davies Artistry. Look forward to it. Let me find the extra here, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, guys. Thanks again.